And it says that I'm live, but who knows? That could be Memorex. That joke just never gets old, people. Yes, Thrash Pondo here, and welcome to my latest series of Sunday Fireside Chats. So good, so good. So I've come to suck your blood, blah blah. So good you could all make it. Well, it's just me so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit tight and just sort of talk at myself until a guest arrives. We have a winner. And of all people, it's Tug. Tug, I thought you'd be sick of me by this point of the day. Yes, the unapologetic geek is here, and he goes, yo to you, bro. And oh, look, Superplex is close second. Says good evening, Thrash Pondo Pawns, or T Pawns in his case. Lance Jamin says hiya, Thrash, and Keithy says hello, hello. And Amanda Carlin is here. Amanda, it's so great to see you. By the way, please tell your dashing young husband we all said hello to him. And it was double plus good that he's talking about coming back, both toot and sweet. Cannot wait for his triumphant return. And will you go away? No, not you guys. There's like some pop up that keeps popping up, and I don't want to pop up right now. I want to talk to you. Zuplik says, you are looking good. You too, Dave. So great to see you again. Tug says, hey, Zoops, Lance, Keith, Amanda, and of course, Thrash. And hello to all of you as well. Watching is here says, hello, everyone. I can only be listening. Well, that's fine. We will sing your praises. La, 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 la. So good to see you, Wajameen. Welcome to the party and enjoy the audio portion. Not being able to look at me is just going to be something you'll have to cope with. Sean Innes is here and says, hello again, all. Yeah, I know. This is the second time we saw you at Dave's members only chat. A lot of people having fellowship. And Daryl Johnson is here, and Daryl says, Bob, other brother Daryl, what goes on, young man? It is so good to see you. And wow, everyone's saying, oh, it's so nice that you guys all are like such friends. It's like I could just kiss myself. It's such a beautiful fellowship, and yeah, it's so good to see you guys. What are we up to now? We're up to nine, 3 minutes in. That's pretty good, by the way. Oh, and I got some good news, and I got some bad news. The bad news is I do have trivia tonight, by the way. But I my wife got me the copy of Remind magazine. I know Dave doesn't do Remind anymore. He's no longer affiliated with them. But if I see a copy, or more importantly, if Mrs. Thrash sees a copy in like the Dollar General or something, she'll buy it for me. And I got the majority of questions from the Remind magazine this week. A couple I added just for laughs. One of them, if you're a friend of Dave's, I'm sure you'll get it. And oh, John Bernstein is here. He says, just for reference, I'm not here. Late last night, beneath my stare, I met a man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. Oh, God, I wish he'd go away. Well, so glad you're not here with us, John. We will have fellowship with you in absentia. Lance says, no more Remind magazine giveaways. Give always. Always give. Reminding you to always give to Remind magazine. Oh, well, you got one. And Keith E says hello to at least a dozen people. Keith, with your relationship with Siri, I think we can all just consider ourselves greeted. But it's so great to have you here with us. And Tug says, hello to John Bernstein in absentia. Zublik says, hello, James Mason. Dave, you made my night. Thank you so much. I've been doing that impression for over 20 years now, and I can count on one hand the number of people who said, oh, James Mason. Thank you. I think it's a pretty solid James Mason, or at least above average. At least you know who I'm talking about. But thank you for getting it. I appreciate that. Mike Silva is in the house. Mikey, how you doing, bro? And Mike says, dance your cares away, clap, clap, worries for another day. Let the music play, clap, clap, down an avalanche. I was going to say, I didn't think you were referring to Fraggle Rock. I mean, I knew you were referring to Fraggle Rock, but I think you were going somewhere with it. Lance James says, Thrash, you on tomorrow night, Lance? I'm so glad you mentioned that. Unfortunately, no, I'm not going to be doing a show tomorrow night. As I'm sure you folks all know, this is the first week of school. There were a bunch of stuff I wanted to do while I still had a full week off. Haven't done virtually any of them. Tomorrow's kind of a run around day. I'm going to be doing some errands and stuff. I'm a little overscheduled. So I don't think I'm really going to be geared up for a chat tomorrow. But I will be with you in spirit. Oh, the Bruce Cruz fails his here. He says, "Hey, Thrash, just listening while I'm editing a couple of videos. I hit the like number 6. Keep grinding, boss. You as well. You as well. By the way. Oh, and I went to see a new video, and it was taken down. Was there something on it that you needed to fix or something? Anyway, I'll keep looking for a repost." And Mike says, "Go that way really fast, and if something gets in your way, turn." That, of course, is a reference to one of my favorite dark romantic comedies, Better Off Dead, a movie they could never make now. It's while they're teaching the very young John Cusack how to ski. And they make it sound so easy. Ironically, it actually works for him. But yeah, I love that movie. $2. I want $2. Oh, I just gave away a trivia question. No, I didn't. Zuplik says, "You're welcome, T-Pawns. It was perfection." Well, Zupiplex, I must say that I'm very, very thrilled with your kudos, and thank you once again. Shannon says, "Brian, you're all individuals. Crowd in unison. Yes, we are all individuals." That one guy. Oh no. Life of Brian. I had a philosophy professor in college who used to refer to that scene just because it worked on so many levels. Tracy Roth Myers is here, says, "Hi all, Tracy Bubala. So great to see you. My girl, welcome to the party." And let's see, I think I'm a little behind, but I'm going to try to catch up. I just popped again. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Mike Silva says, "No way, Pawns." Yes, way. Keith E says, "Tracy, get ready for ugly weather." They keep talking about Mexico Beach. Mexico Beach, is that a new story about Vietnam? BK on the air is here. Barry, so good to see you. Hello, Thrash. Hello, everybody. With a bright eyes and a wave clap situation. Barry, I'm so glad you could make it tonight. Welcome to the proverbial party. And the nostalgic pod blast is here as well. What's happening? Sad about Bob Barker. I was devastated. That was one of the saddest things I've heard. He's one of the people who's been around like literally my entire life. When I was a little kid and my mom was still in her housewife phase, was a stay-at-home mom. She used to have that show on when she was cleaning and I was being wrangled to not destroy the house. I remember Bob Barker when I was like literally from preschool. So, but again, he got as close as he could to 100 without going over, and that's the important thing. And I say that with all love. And by the way, Paul Bless, I'm so sorry I haven't been able to watch your show on the greatest movie by my tongue TV show theme songs of all time. I will get to it, I promise you. It's just that this week's kind of gotten away from me. And Tug says, "Tracy, Mike, BK, hello." Mike Silva says, "Daryl just watched Scream 6. It was good." Well, they're up to 6 now. That's crazy. Is it 6 feet under? Tracy says, "Maybe I will do a chat if no one else is." You know what, Tracy? If you do a chat tomorrow night, I will be able. I can almost promise you, I'll be able to stop in and say hi and listen in spirit, like Tom, the Hungry Jerk. Speaking of which, hello, Tom. Like Big Bean does, like Wajamin and Bruce Cruz are now. I will definitely make an appearance. So you want to have a live chat tomorrow? I'm all about it. You take the time slot with my compliments. Shannon says, "It is best to do as mother says." Lane Mayer. In my case, it generally was. Although there were some times when the sun was right, but we won't go into those. My mother was an awesome mom. Let nobody ever say anything other, except for me. No, again, Mom, kidding. Love you, kidding. Podbless says, "About to go live after Thrash with my own tribute to Bob Barker with a special unboxing of an actress you know who kindly sent me autographed items I sent her. That is so cool, Pod Blast. If Mr. Sundstrom was here, I'd not Mr. If if Mr. Staten was here, I'd have him giving links. But I'm sure we all know your channel by this stage of the ball game. And John Bernstein says, "What movie is the saying I want my $2 from? Better off dead." Yes, that is actually the case, and that's actually based on a story of a run-in the filmmaker had with a overly emotionally unbalanced paper boy. Why didn't just give him the $2 and say "Get out of my life" is still beyond me. But Zublik says, "Pons, do you ever see Death Becomes Her?" Did I really enjoyed it, by the way. It's a very very funny movie, and cancel. We're gonna have one of those nights where if I click things wrong, someone's gonna get sort of virtually shanked from my channel. Yeah, John Brennan says, "I won my $2." Yes. Les Javen says, "And the voice of Harley Quinn, Arlene Golonka." She did a lot of voice work, actually. That was another heavy casualty. Oh, and Dave is here. David says, "Hey, Thrash, it's David. I am so new to making videos in YouTube and so new what to name my channel." Dave's Faves? Fave Dave's? I like Dave's Faves better, though. Terrell Eugene Bellinger is here, and he says, "Hello, Thrash. Hello, Ted. Good to see you. Happy final Sunday of August 2023. So heartbroken about Bob Barker's passing. He lived to be 99. What a long and wonderful life, despite the fact that he was problematic. No, the man had an excellent, excellent run, and he will be sorely missed." Tracy says, "Okay, tomorrow at 7. Edit." I will be there with proverbial bells on. Pod Bless says, "After Thrash rhymes with after Mash." It certainly does. It certainly does. I was just watching something on failed spin-offs of the 80s, and they were talking about After Mash at great length. It was the After Mash, as it were. Yeah, Daryl Jones says, "Holy crap, he was 99 years old." He certainly was. John says, "Cage fight, Bob Barker versus Betty White." We all know who'd win that one. Definitely Betty White. Oh, Raw and Unprepared is here. He says, "Hello, all." Raw and Unprepared, better known as Uncle Joe. So great to see you. Welcome to the party. Mike Silva says, "Nothing." He just jumped off the page again. I am getting so tired of it. Mike Silva says, "I'm not forgetting you, Danny from the last movie. Jog walk out of danger. Understand you can repair these giant spiders yourself. Dutch, oh Dutch, too many jello shots." I would be willing to bet my last dollar that is from the Giant Spider Invasion MST3K, featuring Alan Hale Jr. And I believe his wife actually stars in it. He only features, but I believe his wife is a star. Podblast says, "Podblast topic, what was your favorite Price is Right game?" No worries, Thrash. My Podblast about the top 55 TV themes is over 6 hours long. I don't know how you do it, bro. I don't know how you do it. After about an hour and a half, my derriere literally falls asleep. 6.5 hours. You and Retro Nerd Girl deserve medals. But anyway, I will watch it as soon as possible. Oh, and also, thank you for the I said Swiss Mountaineer guy game. It, of course, is Cliffhanger. Thank you. You reminded me of it, and I appreciate that as well. Max Silva says, "As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly." Possibly the funniest episode of WKRP in Cincinnati ever made, Turkeys Away. Oh, and little secret, I know because I live in an area with wild turkeys can fly. But domestic ones are fattened up to put more meat on them, and that's why they can't. Their weight to wingspan ratio is off the chart. Arguably, the only other episode that I thought was equally funny, and I don't know the name of it. Um, Sadly, they probably don't air that one anymore because it involves terrorism. The phone cops episode, where they have to do remote from their antenna because they get a call of a terrorist attack, and it turns out the terrorists actually planted a bomb in the antenna station. And believe me, this is much much funnier than I'm making it out to be. Johnny Fever is at his best, and he's obsessed with the phone cops coming after him. I don't want to give the game away, but that episode, I remember laughing my tailbone off when I saw it when I was a kid. Zuplik says, "What was that thing they had in Robot Chicken?" Oh, you're gonna have to narrow it down. Robot Chicken has been going on for years, and it's very, very, very funny. And I don't know specifically what. I'm guessing it's something involving Bob Barker. I believe the bit you're talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the one where it's ostensibly it's Bob Barker as sort of Blade, but rather than killing vampires, he's altering uh, stray dogs so they can't produce more stray dogs. And that's all I'm going to say on that matter. But I think that's the one you were talking about. Tracy Rothmeyer says LOL. Mike Silva says WKRP in Cincinnati TV show. Nailed it. Keithy says, I like the yodeler going up the mountain on The Price is Right. Yes, cliffhanger. That was always my favorite as well. Tracy says, Robert, there's a hurricane coming our way. So that's what Keith was talking about. Our way? That's an awfully large scope for a hurricane, somewhere between Florida and Cape Cod. Now, we're both in hurricane zones, I'll grant you that. But unless it really tears up the coast, I doubt it'll get both of us, particularly because you're Western Florida, aren't you? Well, in any case, I have been watching the reports. This time of year, I generally watch reports, so I will. But thank you for the reminder. Tug says hello again, Joe. Keithy says lately I'm all about the weather. Can't blame you. Mike Silva says sad. Bob Barker died. It certainly is. It certainly is. Dave says still remember that episode of Bonanza with Bob Barker. I don't. I don't recall that episode. Oh yes, we have no bonanzas. We have no, but I'm sorry. Tug says, I love death becomes her sempre vibe, love forever. Sempre to you as well. Tracy says, I thought you said I want my $20 like in Paper Moon. When the deep paper falls. Teb says, nothing. He's jumped off the page. You will never turn the page. Teb said, oh, actually, no, I think there was actually one before this one. Wow, you guys are interactive tonight. Oh, here it is. Geek says live. He corrected himself. Love, live, love. Teb says, what are your top 5 favorite songs of 1973? 50 years ago. I wish I had 1973's playlist in front of me because it was a great year for music. But any song I give you would probably be somewhere between 71 and 75. So we'll go with the theme song from the Idaho Transfer. But it was a great year for music. That would actually make a great topic of conversation sometime. In fact, people start mentioning songs from '73 in the chat because in the comment section, because I know you guys can all look it up right now and then post what your favorites are. Mike Silva says Geek is like the sod fight scene in Pippi Longstocking from 1988. Never saw it. Mike Silva says investigating Terrell. Thank you, Mike. I know I can count on you. Lynn says, Tracy, I will be there with bells on. Oh, that's very, very kind of you. Zublik says, Venus. Venus? The Frankie Avalon song? That was in the 50s. I thought. David says, Uncle Joe from Petticoat Junction. No, Uncle Joe from Bob Seger Fire Lake. You know Uncle Joe. He was the one scared to cut the cake. Emily Miller has been MIA also. Yes, Lynn, she certainly has. But I've been seeing her on Facebook, so she's still doing okay, I guess. Tug says to Teb, Frankenstein or Dream On. Excellent, excellent choices. Brogo's here. He says, hello, everyone. This is the way. Yes, this is the way. Thank you, Brogu. And thank you for joining us. And let's just see a lot of people saying hi to Brogu. Daryl Johnson reminds us that Frankenstein was, of course, Edgar Winter. He certainly was. Tree says Emily could be here in the wings. Sometimes she does stay off the radar, although she loves to let us know when she's here. Tim says they tried to do a spinoff from Alice that followed Flo, the Kiss My Grits lady, as she left Mel's Diner to do a Roadhouse restaurant in Texas that barely lasted 2 seasons. Yes, Jeffrey Lewis, from all those old Clint Eastwood movies, and of course one of my favorite Christmas movies, uh, Night of the Comet. He plays her bartender quasi love interest. But yes, I do remember the show Flow. It wasn't particularly good. It wasn't without its charm. Justin from the Briarwood Inn. Justin is here. Oh my God! So glad you could make it. He says there's so many songs from '73 that I could list. It was a great year for music. Teb says, I mean, kiss my grits. Yeah, kiss my grits, Bill. And Bro Goo is saying hello to Tug and everyone else. Mike Silva says, Derelict Hilarious House. Hilarious House of Frankenstein. Oh my God, I love that show. It was a kids sketch comedy show from the early 70s. I believe it was Canadian. But it was picked up by US affiliates. And it was literally surreal. It was such a great show. It was Frankenstein was trying to, by my tongue, Dracula was basically trying to resurrect Frankenstein for some national pride thing in his country, and he and his sidekick Igor, I want to say, who was kind of a heavy set guy, bald with a mustache, and they would have like these little adventures each week. Vincent Price used to come on and read kids' books and stuff or tell poems. And for some reason, they never quite got Frankie up and going again. And like most kids shows, they'd have people come on and talk about cool animals or history or that type of thing. I loved Hilarious House of Frankenstein. David says, what was Uncle Joe's real name? The one from Bob Seger or the one from Petticoat Junction? Either way, I don't know. Mike Silva says, Pawns, ever seen the movie Avalanche from 1977? Mike, we've been through this no less than 50 times. Yes. In fact, I saw it, I believe, at your behest. But yes, I've seen the movie, and it has made a lasting impression. I mean, 78. The jury is still out. I've actually seen it listed as both, believe it or not. I think you are right. I think the official year is 78. But Brogu says, my internet has been down for a little while. What have I missed? Basically me just spouting off, reading people in the comments. Tug says, Superstition by Stevie Wonder, final answer. Incredible song, very superstitious. You know what? When in doubt, always go with R&B. Zublik says some sort of celebrity cage match in claymation. Jamie used to watch that when she was like a kid. That was a great show. That show was hysterical. It was an MTV show, I believe. Lynn says sorry about that, bro. Goo. And I know more sympathetic we could not be. And Tracy says, yes, Tug, I love that song. Nostalgic Pablo says the Thanksgiving WKRP episode Turkeys Away originally aired before Halloween on October 30th, 1978, yet they aired another new episode on November 6th, 1978, Silly Network. I know, right? Oftentimes they aired things when they felt like it, not when it made sense. Lublick says Bob Barker and Betty White wrestling and claymation. That'd be amazing. I know who would win. Tracy says Cliffhanger was her favorite as well. And Pod. Oh, look who's here. Emily Miller's here. By the time Thrash realizes I'm here, it'll be over. Never. We were certainly wondering where you've been, my dear. But so nice that you are with us. And wow, I'm actually way behind. Yeah, I can see what you mean now. Holy free holy. And look, I think I just reported Tug. I'm very sorry. Uh um what I'm gonna do, as it's almost 8 o'clock. Kevin Scott 76 is here as well. It says, "Hey Thrash, texting from my pool, performed with the Four Tops. You you perform with the Four Tops. Oh my god, did you record it? Send it to me. I don't care how you do it. Oh my god, I love the Four Tops. Oh my god, that is so cool. I'm gonna scroll back while I gush. That is like cool squared. And Pablo says many say that Stevie Wonder is not really blind. Not saying I believe it. Rumor. I think it's pretty safe that he's blind. Tug says start worrying if you see Jim Cantor in my neighborhood. Oh, Dave says he likes Plinko. Kevin. Oh, and there's Kevin Scott where he says he performed with the Four Tops, which is amazing. I'm gonna skim through because we're like way behind. Super says Broku. I hope your internet is down for the quiz because T-Palm's quizzes are always murder. This one shouldn't be that bad. Uncle Joe says, "Sorry, Tug, I am working with Blender while listening. I didn't see the hello." Daryl Jones says the cover of the Rolling Stone, Dr. Hook. I love the cover of the Rolling Stone by Dr. Hook. That was 73? I thought it was earlier. Keith E says, let me tell you a secret about blindness. The first thing they tell you is never admit what you can actually see. Ooh, good tactic. Dominic D is here. He says, hello, Thrash, and all my fellow Thrashers. Bob Barker lived a full, fruitful life from the truth or consequences to Price is Right. I couldn't have said it better myself. And Emily says, Lance, normal's overrated. And again, Emily, thank you so much for joining us. It's so great to see you. We've been hoping you could make it tonight. Texas normal. I don't know the meaning of the word. Mike Silva says, Pawns last night watched Dr. Alien Laser Blast movie on Tubi. I actually like Laser Blast. Of course, you all know my favorite part of the movie is the stop motion animation. I'm going to skip down really fast. Emily says, I only know Venus from Bananarama. That was an 80s song. Well, I'm sure you already knew that. No, Frankie Avalon did a song called Venus. I believe it was early 60s when he was still a heartthrob. Zublik says, Venus from that Dutch group. Okay, now I see what you're saying. Anything Black Sabbath in 73. Brogu says, do you hope my internet will be down, Superplex? Do you hope everyone else's internet will be down, or just mine? Just wondering. I think he's hinting that he doesn't want me to do trivia tonight, but I'm catching up just so I can do trivia. Mike Silva says, bad channel's worst movie from 1992. Tug says, maybe she only something tells us when she's here. How would we know? And Dominic D says, and let's hope he spends eternity above, not below, or Satan would say, Bob Barker, come on down. I had to do it in that voice, sorry. Pablo says Juliet Lewis's dad, Jeffrey Lewis from Salem's Lot. Yes, he was in Salem's Lot. I had forgot that, but yes, he was. And yes, he most certainly is Juliet Lewis's father. And they've actually done a couple things together, now that I think of it. But yes, definitely Juliet Lewis's. Juliet Lewis probably best known from Natural Born Killers. And the remake of Cape Fear. Sean says, need to step away. I'll replay the trivia. Good luck, everyone. Sean, take care. So glad you could make it. Zublik says, apologetic, you are only happy because you are on T-Pons' wavelengths. Are you sure he is not your real father? I'm only about 9 years older than him. Although with a time loop, it could explain a lot. Emily says, by the time, this is where we came in. Tug says, if I wind up in a psych ward, Emily, and they all tell me you are just a product of my imagination, I'd probably think that figures. I think that's a compliment, though. It is. And Justin says, Jeffrey Lewis was Clint's friend in the early episode of Mama's Family. Oh, Vince. I see what you're saying. Mama's Family, yes. Lil James is super why he's so mad. And Super said it was just a joke. Tug says Daryl, the entire Dark Side of the Moon album, one of the greatest albums of all time. No debate. No, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Tracy says I like hearing crickets uh, in the background. Yeah, I know that. Well, that's my deck, literally right there. That's my deck. So yeah, I had a really nasty cricket in the living room the other day. It was like chirp, but he's no longer with us. Celebrity deathmatch. Whoever said celebrity deathmatch, because I jumped as I saw it. Whoever said celebrity deathmatch. Yes, that was the show we were talking about. And oh, Michael's drones and RCs is here. He says hello, Thrash. Hello to you too, by the way. And oh my gosh, I'm really behind. Yeah, celebrity deathmatch. Thank you. It was Lance who said that. Thank you. Daryl Jones says I turned down tickets to see Pink Floyd. I can't believe I did that. Heartbreaker. Very much a heartbreaker. Keithy says artificial intelligent Emily. Emily says Tug, don't feel bad. Sometimes I think I hear Emily in my head too. And Tug says they had one where it was Ozzy versus Marilyn Manson fighting to be the most rocking servant of Satan. Ozzy won by biting his head off. Of course, the bat. And David says season 2, episode 6, Denver McGee Bonanza with Barb Barker. Episode the Bonanza episode. Thank you. Season 2, episode 6. Texas. No, don't report me. I won't. I won't. Super says I always imagined Stephen Hawking's wrestling with Christopher Reeves. Ooh, that'd be a good one. I'm just gonna kind of skim down, so please bear with me. Oh, Tug says, Tug, by my tongue, I'm sorry. Tom says, here for a few. Tom, I'm so glad you could make it. Is it a busy night? I guess the restaurant was busy tonight. I had tonight off. Last night was dead. Teb says tomorrow marks 30 years since the debut of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, with the very first episode, Day of the Dumpster, kicking off the franchise that's still going strong. You know, I went to school with the Pink Ranger. And I'm gonna I think I'm almost caught up. Oh, Indy Speltz is here. Says, anybody know the category for tonight? It's mostly child stars from the '80s, but I have a couple curveballs in there as well. And I got it from Remind Magazine, by the way, just because I wanted to give everybody a fighting chance. And Michael Jones says, I stopped by to show my support and smash the like button for you, my friend. Thank you so much. If you guys haven't subscribed to Michael's Drones and RCs, please do. I wonder if Danny's having really bad weather or under the weather, or if his internet is down because he's usually here by now. Hope you're having a great day. You too, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Daryl says some of you need to hit the like button and maybe subscribe button too. No harm in doing both. Doug says, "What? We're doing more Godzilla trivia tonight, right? Yeah, I wish." Tom says they have a Godzilla channel on Pluto. Oh, that sounds like so much fun. Although I already own most of the movies. Emily says, "If you believe, I seriously doubt that's where Barker is heading." We're going back to come on down, as it were. Brogu says, yes, they have a 24/7 Godzilla movie on Pluto TV. It's great. It sounds like a blast. And I'm gonna pick up with Indy Spouts because he was right there. Here it is. Where's the 24-hour Gamera channel? That's a great question. Lynn says Emily Dave is not doing Remind Magazine anymore. He cut his ties with them. Things happen. Emily says never much care for Vince's kids, but Bubba. Brogu says Godzilla 24/7 channel on Pluto TV. The book says T Pons is backed up a lot today. Well, that's because you guys are so interactive and great. I will never complain about being far behind. I hope you guys don't complain too much about me falling far behind. And if I miss a comment or two, please bear with me. But I love the fact that you guys are this interactive. And if I do skip a comment, please repost, and I will try to catch it on the rebound, as it were. Tom says, I remember Fireflies. A lot of people saying hello to one another, having fellowship. Uh, oh, Dan, the Breaking Man says, I'm back. Just got off the phone with a job offer. Good luck. It's looking good. The company said, come on down. Come on down. I love it. R.I.P. Bob Barker, but I love the expression. You have a job. Uh, get it, price is right. R.I.P. Bob Barker. I certainly do. I certainly do. So good luck with the new job. Daryl says he may have been kidnapped by Bigfoot. Ooh, I never even thought of that, but quite possibly. Dennis DeLeo. Dennis DeLeo. Dennis DeLeo. Dylan says House of Frightenstein was fronted by Billy Van, who became a writer and extra on the Sonny and Cher show. I had forgotten he got started Sonny and Cher, but he was a Canadian stand-up comedian, I believe, initially. And didn't he do? Wasn't he also on the Rodney Allen Rippey? Not the Globetrotters show. There was another show with the Hudson Brothers show, possibly. But anyway, I'm just gonna skim down because I'm almost caught up. Pablo says no trash talking of Bob Barker, please. Show some respect. And he spelled says Manila. Ah, the Manila envelope. Yes. Dale John says it was Minzilla. Are we talking about Godzilla's son? Minya. I believe it's pronounced Minya, but I like Manila as well. Zublik says, please stop Daryl before I crack a rib. James says, I like Godzuki better. He was cute. And not nearly as irritating. Dominic D says, hey, Thrash, everybody. Dominic D, so glad you could make it. Keely says, Thrash doesn't have Eon to push him quickly through the chat. Good thing, too. And Tracy says, everybody got skeletons in their closet, even Bob Barker. Heck, we all do have them above. The poor man is dead. Yes, he is. R.I.P. Indy Spout says, loved the Hudson brothers. So you're a star. Sniff. Yeah, but didn't Billy Van work on their show too? By the way, I believe he did. And Justin says, Coke Zero Manila. Dominic DeLeo says, you're a correct Thrash. And Sonny's solo show. Okay, thank you. I thought so. We're going way back now. And Emily says, Tracy, I have no skeletons in my closet. Mine are out and about. Yeah, I'm an open book too. Zublik says, frankly, I am not reading a lot of trash talking about Bob. Well, that's good. That's good. Entry says, did I say I hate spell check? What did you mean to say? And Doug says, my skeletons are proudly displayed on my front yard to send a message to my enemies. Oh, love it, love it. And Brandwood says, but they prefers Diet Coke. And Pablo says, it's refreshing, Zuplex. No haters in here. And of course, Trade's like, Tug! And Glenn says, Emily Miller, I have a bone to pick with you. And Dominic D says, anybody remember the Hudson Brothers song Rendezvous? Not off the top of my head. I do remember the group, but and Indy Spell says, my skeletons earned scale on Jason and the Argonauts. But I loved that movie. I saw it with my cousin when I was visiting I want to say for Christmas in 1973 of all times, actually. And we watched that in his bedroom, and I love that fight scene with the skeletons. But anyway, as I'm more or less caught up, and it's actually after 8, I'm going to start the trivia game now. There's 22 of us. That seems to be the magic number. So if I miss anyone's comments for a few minutes, please bear with me. I'm going to be doing questions. The overwhelming majority of them came from Remind Magazine. One you'll all get if you stay up on Dave's channel. But I'm just going to start, and as always, in no particular order. This is the Dave one, by the way. What former child star was supposedly at one time mistaken for Mark Hamill? Was it A, Mason Reese, B, Robbie Rist, C, Jack Earl Haley, or D, Ike Eisenman? I shall repeat. What former child star was supposedly mistaken for Mark Hamill at one time? A. Mason Reese. B. Robbie Wrist. C. Jack Earl Haley. Or D. Ike Eisenman. And I'll give you guys another minute or two. Daniel goes, like it was the only name I recognize. I'll go over them when I answer the question. After I answer the question, but Mr. Wilkinson is here. Says, "Good evening, Tracy. Good evening to you, Mr. Wilkinson. So glad you could make it." And I think it looks like everyone pretty much got that one, so I'm just going to answer it. It was D. Ike Eisenman, and Mason Reese did did a lot of commercials. He was this sort of pudgy redheaded kid who did, like, probably best known for Underwood Double Ham, who talked about being a bogus schmord. Take my word for it. And Robbie Wrist was he was Cousin Oliver, the little blonde kid with the Coke bottles. Yeah, Cousin Oliver. Jack Earl Haley, I'm sure you've seen. He actually looked remarkably like Ike Eisenman. I used to mix them up when I was a kid. But yes, it was Ike Eisenman. And I'm now going on to number 9. Speaking of Mr. Hamill, which stooge did he have an opportunity to work with early in his career? Was it A. Moore Howard, B. Larry Fine, C. Curly Howard, or D. Joe Besser? I shall repeat. Speaking of Mr. Hamill, which stooge did he supposedly have the opportunity to work with early in his career? A. Mo Howard, B. Larry Fine, C. Curly Howard, or D. Joe Besser? And yes, if you know the timetable of the Stooges, as it were, you should be able to eliminate some of the choices right off the bat. But speak of the devil, Danny Staten is here. He says, "Greetings from South Carolina." Danny, we thought you were dead. So glad you're here. So glad you can make it. And I'm so sorry I keep missing your late night live streams. I'll try to watch them in replay. I'm in bed by that time. What can I say? But anyway, you just you missed the opening trivia question. Hopefully you can catch that one in replay and watch the rest of them. But Danny says, had a family event I couldn't get out of. Old people's birthday. No, Danny, you are more than okay. We were just concerned about you. That's all, by the way. So glad. I hope you had a nice time at the family function. And in the event, the answer is, of course, D. Joe Besser. Very early in his career, of course, but a lot of people forget. Mark Hamill actually did voice work very early in his career. He went back to it later on, but he did a lot of voice work. He was in Wizards. Tom, I'm sure you already knew that, and other stuff. But he did a show called Genie, which is sort of a modernized remake of I Dream of Genie. And Joe Besser played a apprentice genie in that as well. So he got a chance to work with this stooge. Moving on to question 8. What 80s star holds the record for youngest SNL guest host? Was it A. Heather O'Rourke, B. Drew Barrymore, C. Winona Ryder, or D. Jennifer Connelly? I shall repeat. What 80s star holds the record for youngest SNL guest host? A. Heather O'Rourke, B. Drew Barrymore, C. Winona Ryder, or D. Jennifer Connelly? And opinion seems to be divided. I'll wait for a few more to roll in. Mrs. Thrash says hi to everyone. She's lurking in the shadows. Okay, I'm going to call this one. Yes, B. Drew Barrymore. I believe she was 7. And it wasn't long after E.T. came out. But yeah, everyone's saying it. Everyone says hi, Mrs. Thrash. And but yes, B is the correct answer. I'm moving on to number 7. What does the J and Michael J. Fox stand for? A. James. B. Jason. C. John. Nothing. His middle name is Andrew. I shall repeat. What does the J in Michael J. Fox stand for? A. James. B. Jason. C. John. Or D. Nothing. His middle name is Andrew. I'm going to give this one another couple of minutes. Oh, no, maybe not minutes. Another few guesses. Oh, and Denny, I should have asked. Please distribute links to all our friends who have other channels. That's very, very kind of you. And Jay for jerk. That's mean. He doesn't have enough to worry about. He's always said nice things about you. Tug's middle name is Andrew. Oh, that's so cool. Emily's guess is John. For those of you who guessed Nada, yes, what happened was, as you know, when you join the Screen Actors Guild, they only permit one person with any given name. That's why John Waters was never able to join. They said we already have a John Waters, Australian actor, I believe. You would have to add a middle initial, be like John J. Waters or John W. Waters. And John Waters like, no, my name's John Waters. That's it. There already was a Michael A. Fox, an English actor, I believe, was in Bridge Too Far and a few others. So what he did was, I can't remember if he just thought J sounded close to A, or if his favorite cousin's name started with J. But for some reason, he decided to go with Michael J. Fox. But yeah, his middle name is Andrew. Moving on to number 6, and then we shall get scores. Number 6. Sean Astin is, of course, the adopted son of John Astin. But his biological father's name is actually A. William Tell, B. John Tell, C. Matt Tell, or D. Don't ask, don't tell. I had so much fun writing that one. I will repeat. Sean Astin, of course, is John Astin's adopted son. But Sean Astin's biological father is actually whom? A. William Tell, B. John Tell, C. Matt Tell, or D. Don't ask, don't tell. And I knew at least one of you was going to guess one of the funny answers. Nicholas Mimonis is here. He said D. Yeah, no, that is not a thing. At least not anymore. Justin has another good one. K-Tell. Thank you. I didn't even think of that one. I feel like I'm playing match game. Blank tell. Blank tell. Tattletale. Lance, that's another good one as well. Brogu says, "Don't ask, don't tell." Michael? Are we talking about Michael J. Fox? Or are you saying his name was Michael Tell? No, the correct answer, of course, is John Tell. William Tell, of course, is the famous Swiss archer, and Matt Tell is a famous 70s and 80s toy company which made Matchbox. And now it is time to get scores. Zuplex is 4 to 5. Daryl Jones says, who in the hell is Andrew? Who in the hell was Andrew? Oh, Andrew was Michael J. Fox's middle name. But there already was a Michael A. Fox in the Screen Actors Guild, so he had to change it to J so he could join. Tug has gotten 445 answers correct. That is very, very good. Dan says, I haven't heard the questions yet. Oh, dude, you'll have to catch part 1 and replay, though. Hopefully be here for the part 2. Tracy is 3 out of 5. Uncle Joe is 1 out of 5. Dominic D is 4 out of 5. Zublik says, hello, Raw. Terrell Eugene Bellinger says C. Oh, Mattel? Yeah. Yeah, but Mattel's the toy company that made Hot Wheels. Del John is 5 for 5. So I say, fair enough. Indy Spouts is 4 from 5. Michael Tell is the name of. Really? Of Austin's father? Really? Okay, everybody give yourself. We'll just call B as Michael. I could have sworn it was John Tell. Well, this comes up later on because there's another glitch too. So, Indy, everybody who said anything other than William, Matt, or don't ask, don't tell, give yourself the credit. You know what? Everyone give yourself credit on that one. But wow, Michael Tell. My site must have been incorrect. Well, clearly it was incorrect. Keith says, don't weren't there two Robert Conrads in there? Different middle initials. Because that's how they did it. Eddie Spouts is 5 for 5. Michael Tell is the name of Austin's father. Check. I will yield to Indy. I will never ever question your knowledge, so I will yield to you as accurate. Teb is 3 out of 5. Brogu for 5. Just kidding. You can always catch up later on. Zublex is well there, 3 for 5. Danny says, I can't concentrate on the trivia. My body is at war with greasy country. Cooking sounds delicious. Tracy is actually 2 for 5. Emil Miller says, thank you. Indy, I'm guessing I'm 2 for 5. Dominic D says 5 for 5 now. You're welcome, everyone, Indy. So, Indy, you have to keep coming to these shows just for the trivia. You're more fun at this trivia than I am. And you put in less of the work. And Big Guys 45 is here. He says hello. So good to see you, Big Guys 45. And I believe we got the scores. So I'm going to press on with question 5. Corey Feldman has been very upfront about his problems with addiction. Supposedly, what celebrity steered him into getting help for his drug problem? Was it A, Peter Lorre, B, Carrie Fisher, C, Diane Wiest, or D, Heather Graham? I shall repeat. Supposedly, what celebrity helped steer Corey Feldman into getting help with his problems with addiction? Is it A, Peter Lorre, B, Carrie Fisher, C, Diane Wiest, or D, Heather Graham? Dan says Michael Jackson. Love it. Big S45 says, went shopping, got vegetable, pasta, cauliflower, yogurt, and many more goodies. Oh, that's excellent. The actual correct, yeah. Oh, yes, it was Fisher, I think. Yes, it was Carrie Fisher. I believe it was while they were working on the movie The Burbs back in '89. I could be wrong about the movie, but yes, it was Carrie Fisher who had her own demons as well, steered him into getting help. Question 4. Lisa Bonet was fired from her own spin-off, A Different World, for what reason? A, she got pregnant. B, she wanted more money. C, she had an ongoing drug problem. Or D, she did that naughty movie Angel Heart. I shall repeat. Lisa Bonet was fired from her own spin-off, A Different World, for what reason? A, she got pregnant. B, she wanted more money. C, an ongoing drug problem. Or D, she made that naughty movie Angel Heart. A lot of people are guessing D. I'll give you a few more guesses. Oh, and while I'm here, for those of you who haven't been here a while or are joining us again, I want to say thank you guys very, very, very much. You were not forgotten. It's so nice to see you guys again. Thank you for joining us. And naughty. Okay, the correct answer was actually A. She was a college student. They didn't think it would work in the proper setting. I don't think they should have fired her, but that was what happened. I believe she sued for that too, actually. No, the thing about Angel Heart was Bill Cosby hit the ceiling when she did Angel Heart. He was very disappointed that she would make what was bordering on an adult film. And as it turned out later on, if there's one person who doesn't deserve to criticize anyone for anything, it was in fact Bill Cosby. But that's what triggered the feud between Lisa Bonet and Bill Cosby. But it's not what got her fired from the show. In fact, there's more to that. Well, I didn't research that, so I'm not prepared to discuss it. Maybe we should. That might make a good Celebrity feuds might make a great topic of conversation if I decide to have another topic sometime. Although, who doesn't love these general topic chats? But anyway, moving forward to question 3. Which factoid is not true about Winona Ryder? A, she's been arrested. B, she introduced Christian Slater to his wife. C, her real name is Horowitz. Or D, she's never been in a music video. I shall repeat. Which factoid is not true about Winona Ryder? She, A, has never been arrested. Or, no, A, she has been arrested. B, she introduced Christian Bale to his wife. C, her real name is Horowitz. Or D, she's never been in a music video. And you know what? Not to give the game away yet. In fact, all of those are actually true. And I'm going to let more people take some guesses before I actually take a stab at that. In fact, I was actually, I almost tried to contact Remind over this one, but I don't want to seem like a complete and total smartass. But no, as it turns out, all of these facts are actually true about her. The one that Remind Magazine picked to be false is actually true, and I will explain in a second. Dennis DeLeo says A, B, C, and D. Actually, it would be the opposite because they're all true. The correct answer that they gave to Tug is right is D. They said she's never been in a music video. But for those true fans of MTV, you might remember there was an MTV celeb. He had a couple of one-hit wonders. I know that's redundant. Back in the 80s, most notably Elvis is Everywhere and Don Henley Must Die. He was Mojo Nixon. He basically, his shtick was, he was like emulating the sort of John Steinbeck-esque folk rocker who would have these like little adventures. And anyway, he did a song making fun of tabloid newspapers called I Am Bearing Debbie Gibson's Three-Headed Love Child. And in the music video, Winona Ryder plays Debbie Gibson. So, in fact, she has been in a music video. So, you know what? Everyone gives yourself that one because the answer was erroneous. And he spells his picture of this video. Moving on to number 2. Number 2. Which of these stars was not featured in The Outsiders? A, Rob Lowe. B, C, Thomas Howell. C, Ralph Macchio. And D, Kevin Dillon. I really should have made C. Thomas Howell C, because that threw me off a bit. But anyway, I'll still repeat. Which of these stars was not featured in the film The Outsiders? A, Rob Lowe. B, C. Thomas Howell. C, Ralph Macchio. Or D, Kevin Dillon. And you guys are on your game today. Just as the first one, the same person. Very good, very good. Matt Dillon was on The Outsiders. Kevin Dillon was not. I caught it myself, actually. I go, oh, trick question. No, it wasn't a trick. You just have to keep the two brothers separate. And the number one question for tonight is, River Phoenix died just prior to the filming of this flick, causing his role to go to Christian Slater. Was this film A, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, B, Untamed Heart, C, Interview with the Vampire, or D, Bed of Roses? I shall repeat. River Phoenix died just prior to the filming of this flick, causing his role to go to Christian Slater. Which film was it? A, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, B, Untamed Heart, C, Interview with a Vampire, or D, Bed of Roses? Oh, Gary Carpenter, you snuck in here, didn't you? Gary Carpenter, welcome back aboard. Good to see you. And yes, rest in peace, Bob Barker. We've been talking about that at some length. Uh, Dominic D said see. Gary Kemper said see. Saying hello to Gary. Give me a couple more guesses and then I shall not keep you people in suspenders. Oh, Gary's waving to everybody. And well, actually, it looks like all the guesses are in. The correct answer is, of course, C. Interview with a Vampire. And little personal trivia for you folks. Gary Gabbard says, I almost forgot you. Mrs. Thrash and I, our first date was actually Interview with the Vampire. She picked the film, of course. I picked the restaurant, Chinese food, nice place, right next to the cinema. And it's so funny, actually. I knew, like, movie buff. I used to have my own film review show back in local access TV when that was a thing. And what I did was since I knew everybody there, they go, "Oh, Bob." They waved us in. I didn't have to pay, and I go, "That should impress Mrs. Thrash." Well, she wasn't Mrs. Thrash at the time, but and she said afterwards, like, "Oh my God, you're so cheap. Of course you took me to a movie you wouldn't have to pay." And I'm like, "Wow, here I am thinking I'd impress her with all the people I knew," and she's like, "Oh, I'm just a cheap date," but. Hey, she's the one who married me. So, oh, look who's here. Steve is here. And Steve says, hey, start writing if you haven't. Nobody has the story you can tell. Start writing. Begin. Just put finger to key. Nobody has the story you can tell. Just start. Fook, everybody just start. What he said, yes, Emily. I'm sure whatever you write will be amazing. Please start. And Steve, welcome to the party. So good to see you again. Daryl says, I like Bob and Happy Gilmore. Tug says, hi, Steve. Dominic D says, minus 20 for 10. Gary Cameron says, he was on the nanny. Steve says, hi, Tug. Oh, yeah. We haven't actually gotten final scores. Those of you who are only around for the second half, feel free to give scores in that manner, but please throw some scores. Yeah, I was going to say, how did you manage to have a negative number? But Gary Garber says he was on the match game several times. Bob Barker, I'm certain he was. I love that old show. Tug is 7 for 10. I remember he was Gene Rayburn was living on Cape Cod when he retired, and my grandmother bumped into him in a CVS or something once, and they chatted for a minute. And she told this story for the rest of her life, like they were in the war together. And Isabel says the screen froze on the Bone Age choices, Bob. What were they, please? Happily. Let's just see. Okay, the choice of Elise Bonet was A, she got pregnant. B, she wanted more money. C, she had a drug problem. Or D, she did a naughty movie, Angel Heart. Daryl Johnson, 10 for 10, perfect score. I'm very impressed. Super says, Steve, how do you feel about the sanctioning of the Spanish football coach? I hadn't heard this story. Emily says, quite sure mine is no better than 5 out of 10. Oh, we'll give you 6 because there were a couple of glitches there. Actually, make it 7. There were 2 glitch questions this time. Keith says, 1 for 1, I'm only counting the ones I get right. So you're at 100%. Steve says, I don't know what you mean, Zoop. I'm not sure either, but I'm sure it was big news in Europe. Ron Unprepared is 1 for 10. Oh. Dominic D says, I remember Gene Rayburn talking about Cape Cod on Match Game. Yeah, he did. He used to mention it every now and then. He owned the place before he retired. So he'd come for summer breaks and stuff. But then when he retired, he set up camp there. Nicholas Bemoa says, if you decide to write a book, Emily, good luck. Indy Spout says, pregnancy is 10 for 10. Never lost faith in you. Gary Carpenter says, Arlene Zolkin had died. Harlequin. Yes. Rest in peace. Yes, she did. She did a lot of voice acting, actually. Zublik says, the coach of the Spanish female football team. Still not sure the whole story, I'm afraid. Tracy says, Lisa Bonet did Dana Plato. Well, but she's still with us. She was actually married to um, um, him, a guy who played Drago at Aquaman. Jason Momoa. Thank you, dear Jason Momoa. I kept wanting to say Momoas because of Nicholas. See, he threw me off my game. Thank God she was here. Dennis Leo says, YouTube Bob B as he does the top 10 on Letterman. Hilarious. Steve says, sorry, Zoop, but I really have no idea. Dan says, trivia. What co-host on a current game show was on The Price is Right as a contestant? Ooh. Ooh, Drew. I'm going to go with Drew Carey. Steve says, I do not check on the mainstream media. Justin says, who the hell is Arlene Zorkin? She did the voice of Harley Quinn and many, many other cartoons back in the day. He says, I was watching the stream in private, but I just felt the need to give M a shout out to start doing what she wanted to. Steven, I'm so glad you did. It's always great to see you. But of course, I would have given you a shout out to Gary Garber says Jason Momoa because Julie watches in replay. And Dominic D says message retracted. And a message retracted to you, Dominic D. Dan says Vanna White. Ooh, that was an excellent guess. Oh, actually, you're the one who asked the question. It would have been a good guess if I had made it, I think is what I'm trying to say. Uncle Joe says, I thought you were going to say Lenny Kravitz. Oh, well, yeah, she was married to him as well. So, yeah. But more recently, she was married to Jason Momoa. And now they're friends. So I'm starting to think it's her. I'm starting to think it's Lisa Bonet. But what can you do? Nicholas Momoa says, Thrash, that football coach kissed one of the women on his team. That apparently is not allowed. Yeah, I would say no. There's boundary issues there. And Lemon says Hamill gave her a mention on that Twitter. Steve says, love you all. Gonna return to just watching. Well, thank you for surfacing presently, and peace to you. We're actually getting ready to pretty much wrap things up. So, Emmanuelus Keenan says, glad to see you. Glad to see you as well, by the way. Welcome to the party. And Dale John says, Pee Wee Herman. And Emmanuelus says, C. And C to you as well. And Kenneth says, hi, Gary. Denny says, what did the devil say to Bob Barker? LOL. Come on down. Ooh, too soon? No, it's fine. I'm sure he have expected that at his point in his life. I'm sure someone already made the joke to him in advance. Keithy says baked bean mention. Yes, another mention for baked bean. Tug says, I think the answer is B. To be or not to be? That is the question. As Zublik says, we'll miss your participation, Steve. Gary Carpenter says, now it's come up to heaven. Yes, indeed. Kenna says, glad to see you communicating with us, lad. You have a great day, lad. What could you say about Lithuania? Well, as a history buff, I know Lithuania fought very bravely for its independence after World War One, and sadly it didn't last. It was taken over by the Soviet Union. It's an independent state now. They talk about Lithuania in Riley Ace's Spies with Sam Neill, where he's actually trying to take over Russia, and elements of the Balkan provinces, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, their forces try to side with him to overthrow Lenin. Off the top of my head, that and the capital is Vilnius is the only thing that I got. But I commend your country's struggle for independence. Tracy says, good night, guys. Love you. Have a nice week. Oh, Cindy D is here. Says, hello, Gary Carpenter, Dominic D, Ken Wilkinson, and Darrell Johnson. Cindy, it is so awesome to have you here. We're kind of wrapping things up here, but I'm always glad that you could make it. And again, feel free to give me more questions for trivia or topics for trivia. And Miller says, and the player was originally removed from the team because of that kiss. They punished the player? Not very nice. Probably not surprising to, but not very nice. Justin says apparently no one got pet spayed and neutered. I think a lot of people did actually as a result of him. So because wow, everyone considers me evil, Steve. No, no one considers you evil. Gary says they aren't listening. Dan says the new season will be the new studio for The Price is Right. Tug says good night, Tracy. See you tomorrow. Yes, I will be there as well. Indy Spout says thanks for the trivia thrash piece. Indy, thank you for just partaking in it. You make it even more entertaining. So I want to thank you for your participation. Cindy says late to the party, lol. No, Cindy, you're always right on time. I know how busy you are, and the fact that you make it really, really means an awful lot. By the way, thank you very much. Emmanuel, and I'm butchering your name, by the way. I'm very, very sorry. It says, thank you. You have well knowledge of my country. Also, do you like Vikings? What's your opinion on these seafaring hardy raiders? The coolest thing I know about the Vikings actually is now their reputation for being warriors is well deserved, but they built farming communities and they were statesmen and they did all kinds of wonderful stuff. They probably made more money on trade where they would take stuff and sell it here and then buy more stuff and then sell it here. They did a lot of more seafaring trade than actual raiding. There were certainly a lot of raids. I would be lying if I said otherwise. But they actually, I wouldn't say they get a bad rap, but they had a lot more going for them people realize. And here's the coolest thing. Now, as I've mentioned on several occasions, as you know, I live on Cape Cod. Now, we all know the Vikings made it across the Atlantic some 500 years before Columbus. And they say Newfoundland, and they haven't quite pinned down where they are, but there was an old campfire story from when I was a kid about how Vikings actually made it here to Cape Cod, and they actually built a small settlement on Bass River, which is the river that, as you know, divides my hometown with the neighboring town of Dennis. So, frankly, I could do a whole show on Vikings. Actually, that'd be a lot of fun. And let's just see. I'm way behind now. Oh, God bless you as well. Thank you. Dominic D says, "Sweet Dreams" was a great song from 1983. Oh, sweet dreams are made of this. Yes, it certainly was. My only problem with that song is Annie Lennox did so many more great songs, and it seems like every time the radio plays a song by her, it's that one. She had a whole catalog, but people would think that she was a one-hit wonder. Tug says, "I always play as Vikings in Age of Empires. That should be fun." Emmanuel says Vikings were also equal opportunity women, people of color. Gary Cumber says sweet dreams and don't let the bed bugs bite. Oh, and Ziblik says, so now we know T-Pawns is descended from Vikings. No, Central Europe. Central Europe is where my ancestors came from. Mostly Germany. Don't hold it against me. And Steve says, I try Zoop, but sometimes fail. You are far better than me, bro. Take that as the gold. It was meant to and build on that to deliver better to others. Well stated. Gary Cameron says Vikings telling that to the Swedish chef. And Steve says the Eurythmics are gold thrash. They certainly are. They certainly are. Jimmy says, no way. You're a writer. Something I never accomplished. Tug says, yes. They slaughtered everything. LOL. Kidding. Steve says Annie Lennox is a Geordie Gardis. I'll give you that one. Daryl Jones says they built a 7-Eleven. They did? They closed the 7-Eleven in Yarmouth. And Ziblik says the Vikings rampaged across Europe in the Age of Vikings. Oh, there was a certain amount of rampaging. I'm not going to say they weren't. That's kind of how people did things back then. It's not unsimilar to how they do them today. So, Steve says no idea why there were multiple slashes there. I thought you were just doing it for effect. Cindy D says, what was the trivia I missed? Mostly child stars of the 80s, but I threw a couple in on top of that to just sort of flesh things out. Please watch and replay, and let me know how you do in the comments below when this goes live. Tug says, don't put yourself down, Steve. We all fail sometimes. It doesn't make you any lesser. I actually wrote a book too. I just haven't had it published. It's based on a collection of funny anecdotes that I endured while I was working in retail. It's called Can I Speak to Your Manager? And Gary Cameron says Vikings came to America before Columbus did. Yeah, 500 years before. And Zuber says, Zuber, they had to go somewhere. Yeah, they certainly did. And Doug says, I chose to believe I was named after Eric the Viking. Eric the Red. Steve says, it does, Tug. We need to admit our faults to build and make ourselves better. I don't want to cry and moan here, but I acknowledge to you that I only spoke up to boost others as soon as I feel. Steve goes on to say, I am not. I will be leaving. Well, we'll see you again really soon, and thank you for joining us. Lee Mateus is here. Oh my God, Lee Mateus is here. Lee Mateus, and I'm sure you guys have seen his stuff. He put out some amazing deconstructions of modern music on his channel. A lot of hip hop, other songs as well. Amazing stuff. He took a bit of a hiatus because he went off to college. We're all very, very proud of him. But now that he's on a break, he's been putting together more videos, and he says, good to see you, Thrash. Lee, it is so awesome to see you here, by the way. Oh, I have a suggestion for you. If you would consider doing Wayward Son by Kansas, you might really sink your teeth into that one. But that's just a suggestion. And WD says, don't forget to vote. Thumbs up, folks. Cindy says, I will. Thank you, Thrash. I love 80s child stars. Teb says, hope you have a good night. See you next week. Teb, I want to thank you so much. Thanks for your icebreaker questions. They're always welcome. I'm actually going to get back to you. I actually want to research those years because, like I say, when I hear a song, I say, oh, yeah, that was from blah, blah, blah. But it's hard for me to actually think specifically years and match them to songs. So I'm going to tell you what my favorite songs were for both of those years you mentioned. Sublik says Eric Roberts. And a lot of people saying goodbye to Teb. Tug says the reality is way more boring. My parents picked my name at random out of a baby book. Steve says you're amazing, Thrash. No, you're amazing. In fact, all of you folks are amazing, by the way. I have so much fun doing these. And it's so fun. People say, well, isn't a lot of work to get with the comments? Work? This is the most fun I have all week. I get to actually mix it up with you folks. You guys bring me some really great stuff to talk about. It's like having 30 people over for coffee. Only I don't use up all my curry cartridges. You guys are amazing. I want to thank you all for being here. Lee says, I love Wayward Son. I'll definitely put it on the channel. Well, that was a tough sell. Lee, you're amazing. You're absolutely amazing, by the way. Oh, and I told Mrs. Thresh that you called Ponce's Pond, that you call it Crystal Lake. She thought it was hysterical. She thought it was absolutely hysterical. Love it. Absolutely love it. Danny Skaten says, I'm a junior. Oh, either that or I'm a JR. Well, hopefully your sister-in-law didn't shoot you. Ellen was a supernatural every time I hear Wayward Son. Gary Carpenter says, my name came from a great uncle. I was actually named after my father, and here's the funny part. My mother didn't want me to be Robert. I think she picked Justin or something a little more traditional. And my father went down while she was in the recovery room. He went down and filled out the birth certificate because his name was Robert, and he wanted his son to be named Robert. Daryl John says, Ride, Captain Ride was a cool song. It certainly was. Tug says, oh, and I don't drink coffee? What are you, a commie? Sorry, I couldn't resist. I love my coffee and beer, sometimes at the same time. Steve says, hey, Em, start writing and send Tug or somebody else. You respect your drafts and look over. Anybody here will be very willing to help guide you towards your dreams. That is a place of love. It certainly is. Dumber D says, LOL. Zublik says, you really bring life to this chat, T-Pawns. You're one of a kind. No, you are one of a kind. Zoop, you've been one of the friends of the channel from the beginning, and I really appreciate all your feedback. Joe says, I drink all the coffee for you, Tug. And WD says, you're a natural entertainer. T-Pawns, thank you. That really means a lot. Thank you. And Danny says, I drink coffee every morning and vodka most nights. LOL. I have vodka. I love vodka. The great thing about vodka is you can mix it with anything. I tend to stick to beer, though. I've become a beer man. When I drink spirits, I end up drinking it too fast, and then I really feel it the next day. Not that you can't get drunk off beer, but it takes more work. Emily says, Steve, I'll give it a shot. What do I have to lose? Nothing. You have nothing to lose. And Steve says, I'd love to help you, but I am only a novice beginner writer. Gary Kerman says, Diaz, I'd love to join you. Steve says, you have nothing to lose. Cindy D says, message retracted, and a message retracted to you as well. Joe says, I love this community, and we love having you. Yeah, in fact, I love the whole community myself, actually. I couldn't be more prouder of all of you. And Joe says, what is your beer of choice? My favorite beer. Well, I have a thing for Coors Silver Bullets. That's where I get the joke that I'm a werewolf hunter. But I also there's a local beer up in the Northeast. It's called Jenny. I love Jenny Cream Ale because it's so deliciously cheap. I did get some Heineken for my birthday last week. I did drink me some Heinekens. Probably my favorite beer of all time is Beck's, but it's expensive and I don't splurge on beer. Because as my grandfather would have said, after the third one, you can't taste it anyway. Azubuk says, thank you, but I can never execute as well as you. You should be on Radio T-Pawns. Thank you. Well, I was. Remember, I was on BK on the Air as one of their guests. And Tug says, if anybody sends me anything, be warned that I don't believe in sugarcoating, and I tend to criticize harder the things that I like than the stuff that's not worth my time. Same page club. This Horfbrew Stout for Zuplex. This is a true story. I had a friend. He wrote a screenplay, and he asked me to read it and tell him what I thought. And he goes, and don't sugarcoat it. Don't just say, oh, it's good. Don't give me that hollow praise that everyone else does. I want some actual specific criticisms, critiques, ways to improve. I want like notes. And like he all but insisted that I be critical of it. And it was pretty good, but I thought I had some fairly valid, even-handed criticisms. And he stopped speaking to me. He got over it eventually. Even he admitted it. It's like it was more his inability to take criticism than what I was criticizing, which is probably why most people wouldn't criticize him even when he asked them to. But yeah, Tug, I know exactly wherever you speak. And Tug, it would be Star Trek or Godzilla related. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it here, folks. I'm starting a little behind, which is a monument to you guys. Here we are. We're down to about 2/3 strength. A lot of people have already said goodnight, and that's fine. I said I'm going to wrap it up 20 minutes ago. And the fact that you can still keep it going is a monument to how much you love this channel, and it's of a great importance to me. It really means a lot that you folks enjoy this much to actually stay on to literally the bitter end, and want to join me and be here having our fellowship. Now again, sadly, no show tomorrow night, but of course we're all invited to Tracy's at 7 Eastern time. That's our time. Fill in the gaps for you other people in other parts of the country / world. But I will definitely have a show next week. And again, I promise next week I'll actually have a topic. And we could ignore it like we normally do, but next week I will have a topic. But anyway, until next week, I want you all be good, be safe, be careful. For those of you this applies to, have fun with your back to school situations. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.